Hi, it's Dr. Keith McAfee. Welcome to Medicine and Faith. I take a subject of medicine, teach about that. Hopefully you learn something valuable, and then I relate that to your faith. Today, body composition. What do I mean by that? This isn't really a lecture or a video today on weight loss, but it involves things in weight loss. When we think of weight loss, we usually think of pounds. You get on the scale, you weigh 150 pounds, you want to go down to 140. We look at the number. There's this joke I heard once, if you want to lose weight, the fastest way takes a few days. You fly to the moon, has a fraction of the gravity, you weigh a fraction of the amount you do here on Earth. Why? Because weight is just a matter of gravity. It's just an arbitrary number. It's not really even the key issue. If you look at the Olympic athletes, they weigh a ton, but they are very healthy. They have almost no fat. They're solid muscle. They're solid rock, so to speak, and they weigh a lot. When we talk about body composition, if you're going to talk about weight loss or getting healthy, it's not the number that counts. It's what you're made of. How much muscle, how much fat. And interestingly, lack of muscle is really what's unhealthy, not presence of fat. Lack of muscle we call sarcopenia. Sarco is Latin for muscle, penia is Latin for thinning or less, loss of, there's sort of various ways to look at it, but thinning of muscles or loss of muscle, that's what's unhealthy. If you lose weight and you lose 10 pounds of fat, you're getting healthy. If you lose 10 pounds of muscle, you're getting sick. To the scale, it just looks like you're losing 10 pounds. So it's body composition that counts. Now, sarcopenia is interesting. We actually can have a few extra layers of fat and do quite well over time. If we have less muscle, we dilapidate over time. You can be quite slender and have a very attractive figure. I'm being very respectful here. But if you're mainly fat, not muscle, you're actually quite unhealthy. Now, if you look at life, as the years go on, okay, and here's the amount of muscle we have. If you have not a lot of muscle and you're mainly made of fat, they have a nickname, TOFI, T-O-F-I, thin outside, fat inside. It's that same idea. Then what will happen is over the years, you will just slowly decay over the years because you're really not healthy. You don't have a good, healthy system. We all die. That's just a fact of life. But we all want to, if possible, maintain fairly good health, and then one day we go. That's a much happier life. Now, we don't always have a choice between the two, but where we do have a choice, this is what makes you dilapidate slowly and decay. You want to maintain muscle. And the only way to do that is to feed your system well and keep up some sort of activity, exercise. You don't have to become a marathon runner. In fact, I recommend against that. You'll quit. You want to do the amount of exercise that you will do and you will keep up over time, and it's in moderation and it's realistic. Don't promise ourselves things we can't do. And remember, half your muscles are below the waist and half your muscles are above the waist. So don't forget upper body. Everybody talks about walking. It's a great exercise, by the way. I'm a strong advocate of walking. But do something for your upper body too. Now, so lack of muscle, not presence of fat, is really what's unhealthy. Again, getting away from the extremes. In our spiritual lives, what is it that keeps us spiritually growing, happy, and healthy? So many of us approach our lives as saying, well, I just don't want to sin. I don't want to do bad things. I want to avoid the negative stuff. Well, that's all well and good. That's like saying, I don't want a lot of fat in my physical body. I don't want sin and bad things in my spiritual body. But it doesn't get you an active spiritual life, okay? It's the presence of the muscle that makes you healthy physical, and it's the presence of dynamic, virtuous Christian life. It's the virtues that keep you really active spiritually. If you look at a muscle cell in a microscope, it is a churning factory of aggressive activity. If you put a fat cell in a microscope and you stare at it, it'll just stare right back at you. It just sits there. So in our spiritual lives, if we just want to sit and not sin, sort of spiritually watch TV all day, so to speak, and not do anything dynamic in our lives, prayer, presence of God, ministries, helping the poor, doing good things for other people without asking for things in return, that's all well and good. You'll avoid sin, maybe, but you really won't have much of a Christian life to speak of. You want to have a dynamic life, a virtuous life, and that takes spiritual muscular activity. Feed your spiritual muscles and exercise them. And that's the way you have a really good, dynamic, wonderful, rewarding Christian life. So don't suffer from spiritual sarcopenia. Let's keep active. This is Dr. Keith McAfee. Thank you for listening. I look forward to talking to you again soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see other such video logs, please go to my website, KeithMcAfee.com. There you'll also learn about my book, Breathe, A Physician's Stories and Reflections on Prayer, published by Westbow Press, a series of 45 true stories from a medical career, and how that relates to our prayer life. Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to talking to you again soon.